If you've ever watched the haunting beauty of Atanurjuat, the fast runner, you've glimpsed the pulse of the Arctic, a world where ice and snow are not merely a backdrop, but a living, breathing force shaping every human destiny. Or if you've seen the 1933 classic Eskimo, you've witnessed the raw struggle of survival in a land where the horizon is endless and mercy comes only from knowledge, skill, and the spirits that govern it. Under skies lit by the shifting dance of the aurora borealis, the Inuit people have thrived for thousands of years in one of Earth's most unforgiving landscapes. Here, winter swallows most of the year, the sun can vanish for months, and the ice can both protect and betray. But to the Inuit, this is not just a frozen wilderness. It is alive. The wind whispers in the voice of the ancestors. The waves carry messages from the spirits. The hunt is not a battle against nature, but a negotiation with it. This is a world where every breath of air, every snowflake, and every living creature carries meaning. A spiritual landscape woven from ancient stories, powerful beings, and invisible forces. These are not simply myths. They are survival itself. And in the Arctic night, when the stars are so close you feel you could touch them, the line between reality and the spirit world disappears.
To the Inuit, the Arctic is not an empty wasteland. It is a vast, breathing being. In their worldview, every element of nature holds a soul, known as Inua. The mountains, the rivers, the drifting ice flows, the seals beneath the water, the caribou on the tundra, all are alive with spirit. This belief is not poetry, it is law. Life here depends on respect. Harm an animal without reason, waste its body, or mock its spirit, and you risk upsetting the delicate balance that keeps your people alive. Hunting, for example, is never just the act of taking a life. It is an exchange. When a hunter strikes a seal, the true work begins. Whispering words of thanks, placing fresh water in the animal's mouth, and treating its remains with care. Only then may its soul return to the sea, to be reborn. Neglect this, and the ocean may grow empty, the spirits withholding their gifts. The land responds to harmony and to disrespect. A storm might rise suddenly, blizzards might trap the unwary, or the hunt might fail for months. These are not coincidences, they are messages from the living world. For the Inuit, nature is not a backdrop to human life. It is a partner, a teacher, and sometimes a stern judge. Its beauty is a gift, its danger a reminder. Survival comes only to those who live in balance with all that is alive. In the Arctic, the forces that shape life are not abstract ideas. They are living powers, ever present, watching, and waiting to be honored. Inuit mythology is alive with deities whose moods and actions can mean the difference between feast and famine, calm waters and deadly storms. Among them, none is more revered or feared than Sedna, the sea goddess. Her hair drifts like seaweed in the cold depths, her gaze as deep as the ocean itself. She is the keeper of all marine life, seals, whales, fish. When hunters are respectful and rituals are observed, Sedna loosens her grip and lets the animals swim freely into the path of the harpoon. But anger her, through greed, waste, or the breaking of taboos, and she will hold the creatures tight in her hair, leaving the seas empty and silent. Shamans must sometimes journey into the deep in spirit form, combing and soothing her tangled hair, begging her forgiveness so life in the community may continue. Above the ice, the air itself carries the presence of Silap Inua, the spirit of the air, the breath that connects all living things. He is not seen, but felt in the whisper of the wind against the face, in the sudden shift of weather that can turn a clear day into a whiteout. Silap Inua is the link between humans, animals, and the unseen world, a reminder that every breath is borrowed from the same source. There's also Pinga, a goddess whose touch is both gentle and stern. She oversees fertility, the hunt, and the well-being of the people, but she also walks the boundary between life and death, guiding the spirits of the departed to their next home. She is a watcher of balance, a giver of life and a taker when the order of things demands it. In the sky, two eternal figures dance a chase that never ends, Melina, the radiant sun, and Anangan, her brother, the moon. Once close, a great rift set them apart, and now Anangan forever pursues his sister across the heavens. Their movement explains the passing of days, the rhythms of light and darkness, and the strange glow of the moon when he draws near. These are not distant, silent gods. They are immediate and unpredictable, influencing the weather, the migration of animals, and the fortunes of each hunt. To the Inuit, their world is not ruled by chance, but by the will of these beings, powers as vast as the Arctic itself, yet close enough to hear a whispered prayer in the wind. Beyond the great deities, the Arctic is filled with Turngate, spirits that move unseen through the frozen world. They are not legends locked in the past. They are here, in the wind that moans across the tundra, in the dark spaces between the stars, in the sudden silence when the animals vanish. Some are protectors. Shamans call upon them in moments of need, to guide a hunter through a blizzard, to heal the sick, to lead the way when the ice is treacherous. These helping spirits can take many forms: an animal appearing at just the right moment, a voice carried on the wind, or the brief warmth of a presence that vanishes when you turn to see it. But others are far from kind. There are vengeful spirits, born from those who died wrongly, or whose final rites were neglected. They carry their anger into the living world, spreading sickness, misfortune, and hunger. Sometimes they whisper into the dreams of the living, drawing them toward danger. Other times, they show themselves in the half-light, their forms twisted by grief and rage. And then, there are the restless dead, the Angakkuq. These ghostly wanderers drift between land and sea, neither fully gone, nor truly alive. Hunters tell of seeing them in the distance, a lone figure standing on the ice, impossibly still, their face pale as snow. Approach, and the figure fades like smoke, leaving only the wind and an unshakable sense of being watched. In the blinding white of a snowstorm, you might think you see one walking beside you, until you realize your companion casts no shadow. For the Inuit, these spirits are not metaphors. They are as real as the crack of breaking ice or the sudden roar of the wind. And in a land where the line between life and death is as thin as a sheet of frozen water, an encounter with one can change your fate forever. In the Arctic, where life hangs by a thread of ice, there are those who walk the thin line between the living and the dead. They are the Angakkuq, shamans. And to the Inuit, they are the bridge between the human world and the restless realm of spirits. The Angakkuq's duties go beyond healing sickness or guiding a lost soul. They are the keepers of balance, the negotiators with forces that can starve a village or save it. When storms refuse to break, when game disappears from the sea, when sickness creeps through the igloos in the night, it is the Angakkuq who must act. Their journeys are not taken on foot, but in spirit. To begin, they may drum in a deep, unchanging rhythm, the sound vibrating through the bones of all who listen. Their chants weave through the air, the words ancient and half-forgotten, until their body grows still and their soul slips free. In that moment, they leave the safety of the human world. Some journeys lead them downward, into the freezing depths of the ocean to find Sedna, the sea goddess. There, in the black silence, they must face her anger. Her hair tangles with the bones of sea creatures, her eyes cold with fury at hunters who have broken the old rules. The Angakkuq must comb her hair, soothe her rage, and beg for the return of the animals, all while knowing that a single mistake could trap their spirit forever in the cold abyss. Other journeys take them upward, soaring into the endless sky to seek the favor of Silap Inua, the spirit of the air. Here the air thins, the light burns, and the Angakkuq must withstand winds that strip away the soul's defenses. And sometimes they are sent to battle, confronting hostile spirits that cause famine or misfortune. In these struggles, the Angakkuq may transform into animals, calling on their helping spirits to lend them claws, wings, or fangs. Victory can mean the return of balance. Defeat can mean never waking again. When the Angakkuq returns to their body, the room is silent. Their breath is ragged. The people wait, knowing that the fate of the community may depend on what the shaman has seen, and on whether the spirits were willing to listen. In a world where spiritual imbalance can bring death, the Angakkuq is both healer and warrior, walking daily on the knife edge between two worlds, and never fully belonging to either. In the Arctic, survival is a fragile pact between humans and the spirits. That pact is upheld not only through respect, but through rituals, acts so deeply ingrained that breaking them can invite disaster upon an entire community. Before a hunter dares to set foot on the ice, he must cleanse his tools. A harpoon, cold from the night air, is rubbed with fresh snow until it glistens, a silent offering of purity to the spirits of the hunt. No word is spoken. The ritual is older than memory. When the hunt succeeds, the work is not over. The kill is greeted with reverence. A seal may receive a final drink of fresh water poured gently into its mouth, a gesture to ease its journey into the spirit world. Its bones are never discarded carelessly. They are placed with care back into the sea, as if returning the body to the embrace of Sedna herself. To neglect this is to risk angering her, to see the ocean turn barren. Taboos bind every life, from the unborn child to the oldest elder. A pregnant woman must avoid certain foods, for it is believed the wrong nourishment could twist the child's spirit before it draws its first breath. A man returning from the hunt must not approach a woman in childbirth until a purification ritual is complete, for the mingling of those energies is said to invite sickness and misfortune. The first catch of the season is sacred, a sign that the spirits are willing to share their abundance once more. It is treated with extra care, the flesh divided evenly, the remains honored in quiet ceremony. To break these rules is not a private sin. It is a threat to everyone. For in Inuit belief, the consequences are shared. A single careless act can summon storms without warning, drive animals from the hunting grounds, or draw the cold attention of vengeful spirits. Here, every ritual is a thread holding the community together. And in the endless Arctic night, those threads are the only thing keeping the darkness at bay. On nights when the wind screams against the walls and the snow swallows the moonlight, the elders lean closer to the fire and speak in low voices. These are not stories for children, though children hear them. They are warnings. Warnings wrapped in the skin of myth, sharpened by the teeth of the Arctic itself. They tell of the Kalupalik, a creature that waits just beneath the frozen surface of the shore. Her hair is long and green, trailing in the black water like strands of kelp. Her hands are webbed, her nails curved like hooks. She sings, soft at first, almost like a lullaby, luring curious children to the edge of the ice. If they lean too close, she rises with impossible speed, dragging them beneath the surface. Down there, in her lair beneath the ice, they say the children never grow old, but they never come home. Then there is the Mahaha, and here even the elders glance at the door as they speak his name. Tall, impossibly thin, his skin a pale, icy blue, Mahaha moves with the speed of wind over ice. He never strikes in anger. Instead, he smiles, always smiling, as his long fingers dig into his victim's ribs. The tickling is relentless, cruel, and it ends only when the breath stops. The Mahaha leaves them frozen in place, grinning as if they had shared in the joke. Out in the deep night, beyond the glow of the village, walks the Angakkuq, a wolf so large its eyes shine at the height of a man's chest. It hunts the ones who travel alone. Some say its paw prints are as wide as a sled, and that when you hear its low growl, it is already too late to run. The Angakkuq is patient, following from a distance, letting fear freeze you before the cold ever can. But perhaps most feared are the Angakkuq, shapeshifters whose faces you cannot remember even moments after seeing them. They appear as a friend, a fellow traveler, or even a lost child calling for help. But the moment you follow them, the world bends, paths vanish, the horizon twists, and your camp disappears as though it never existed. The Angakkuq will keep you wandering until the land itself swallows you. These are not stories to pass the time. In the Arctic, they say, every tale is born from a truth. And as the wind howls against the door, you might wonder, is that only the storm outside? Or is something waiting in the dark, just beyond the light of the fire? In the Arctic night, when the wind has fallen silent, and the only sound is your own breath, dreams slip in like tides beneath the ice. To the Inuit, they are not idle fictions of the sleeping mind. They are messages, doorways, and sometimes traps. The dream may come as a gift, a vision of a distant herd moving toward your hunting grounds, the face of an ancestor offering quiet counsel, or the soft nod of an animal spirit granting permission to take its body in the days ahead. Such dreams are sought, cherished, and remembered with precision. At dawn, they are spoken aloud to the elders or the Angakkuq, their meanings weighed like fresh meat on the scales of survival. But not all dreams are gentle. There are those that come like sudden storms, carrying warnings so sharp they leave the dreamer gasping awake. A crack in the ice before it happens. A shadow moving across the snow that does not belong to man or beast. Sometimes these warnings are ignored, and when they are, misfortune almost always follows. The most feared dreams are those in which the soul leaves the body. In the stillness of sleep, it slips free, wandering into realms not meant for mortal feet. These journeys are much like the trances of the Angakkuq, a walk through landscapes that shimmer with light not of this world, or plunge into seas where voices murmur in languages the living cannot speak. In these places, the soul may meet spirits both helpful and hostile, and the dreamer must navigate carefully. For if the soul loses its way, it may not find the path back. There are tales of people found cold and still in the morning, their bodies untouched, their faces peaceful, yet their eyes strangely open. The elders say these are dreamers whose souls never returned, claimed by whatever realm they had wandered into. And so in the Arctic, to dream is to travel. And every journey carries the same truth. You must know your way home before the dawn comes. Death in the Inuit world is not an end, but a crossing, a passage from the brittle crust of snow into realms unseen, each shaped by the deeds of a life lived and the weight of one's spirit. The soul's journey begins the moment the last breath escapes into the cold air, carried upward or downward by unseen currents. Some are lifted into the sky world where the sun never sets and the air tastes like spring water. Here, the worthy walk across endless tundra bathed in a golden light that never fades, hunting caribou that never grow thin, drinking from rivers that never freeze. The laughter of ancestors carries on the wind, and there is no hunger, no cold, only the joy of the hunt and the peace of belonging. Those who arrive here are said to move lighter than snowflakes, their steps leaving no mark. Others travel downward, sinking through the ice into the warm land beneath the sea, where Sedna, the mother of sea beasts, rules in her eternal domain. This is not a place of punishment, but of strange and shimmering beauty. Light filters down in dancing ribbons, and the walls are made of living coral. The souls here swim among seals, walruses, and whales, free from want. Yet Sedna is a sovereign to be respected. Only those who honored her laws in life, who treated the animals with reverence, are welcomed into her embrace. Those who took without gratitude may find her gaze cold, her hands closing the waters around them like ice. But there are other paths, darker ones. Souls that broke the deep taboos or lived without honor find themselves drawn into cold, endless places where the wind never stops and the sky is a lid of black stone. Here, there is no game to hunt, no fire to warm the bones. Only shadows move, and sometimes far off a light flickers. Not salvation, but a lure meant to lead the lost deeper into the dark. The elders say the spirits here wander in circles forever, whispering to the living through cracks in the ice, trying to draw others into their fate. The journey to any of these realms is not random. It is guided by the laws of the spirit world, laws older than the oldest ice. Living with respect for the animals, honoring the spirits, keeping the community strong, these are the markers of a safe passage. Ignore them, and the path may twist into places from which there is no return. In the end, the afterlife is not merely about where you go. It is about what you carry with you when you arrive. For in the Arctic, the wind remembers, the snow remembers, and so do the spirits. Inuit mythology is not a relic of the past, nor a collection of fading tales. It is a living map, a survival manual etched into memory, a moral compass carved by the wind and ice, a guide through worlds both seen and unseen. In the endless Arctic night, when the horizon is swallowed by shadow and the air tastes of frozen salt, these stories are more than comfort. They are a lantern against the dark. They teach that every life is bound to the land, the sea, and the spirits that move between them. To ignore this is to walk blind across thin ice, where one wrong step can crack the world beneath you. Here, Every ripple upon black water carries the breath of the ancestors. Every snowflake spiraling down from the sky might bear the whisper of a spirit passing by. The northern lights are not just beauty, they are movement, a dance of souls across the dome of the world. To live in this land is to share it, with the living, with the dead, with the old gods who still walk in the wind. It is to know that the rules of survival are written not only in the snow and stone, but in the unseen laws of the spirit realm. And so the Inuit endure, not because they have conquered the Arctic, but because they have learned to listen to it. Theirs is a pact with the ice and the dark waters, with the creatures that swim below and the ancestors who watch above. For in this place, the line between the natural and the supernatural is as thin and as treacherous as the ice beneath your feet. Step carefully, for every shadow might be a spirit, and every silence might be listening.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.